Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, but
Can we steer you for a second? We've got the assistant question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, Senate Institution. I mean, agriculture is back in session. That will happen a few different times from my old committee. We had a little fire grill. I think we all got A's on that, so that's all good. So back into just some ground rules as far as how we'll proceed. We talked about just being on time. I just think it's a respect thing for the people that come. And that's really all about what this committee should be about, is respect. It's respect for one another first, all of us at all times. Respect. I mean, respectfully disagree. I respectfully agree. All that stuff. Have dialogue. I would be very remiss that anybody ever sat here and didn't really tell how they felt or how they were. You guys all represent districts that are that you have people that are asking you for stuff and all of that, and that all needs to cross the table. That needs to get out there. You need to feel like you're doing what you've been elected to do. You've got thoughts, you've got wishes, you've got whatever. But that's always going to be heard. And in this committee, it's always going to be respected, as in all of us. The next thing is respecting witnesses that come in here. There's going to be times where we're just not going to agree with with what we're seeing, or what we're hearing, or whatever. But that doesn't mean that we are allowed anyway to be disrespectful to anyone. It is the people's house. It is we're here. We got elected to come and to pass laws, and that is by listening to what the people want to hear, what they want to say. Whether we agree or disagree, we'll always be respectful with them. The other thing is fun. I know there's a lot of committee chairs that really want you to call upon they want if Joe, you have something to say, you're supposed to raise your hand. I don't do that. I just don't do that. I do respect the chairs of all. The chairs have the right to run the committees of where they're at. I'm just not that important. I'm really not. I am about all of us getting together and getting the best product out the door, and doing the right thing. I have said before that my biggest job, is to make sure that when you guys have a chance to sit in this chair, that you're ready. And I want to lead in that way. I want to lead in that example, and I want to make sure. And so far, in my short time that I've been here, I've got Brian that's going to be a first-time chair, and I've got the Wendy Harrison, who's going to be a first-time chair of institutions. And I do hope that I've impacted some of what I've done for them to go. And I'll do the same as far as with all of you. I want to conduct myself in a way to where that you're going to say, hey, you know what? I thought he was a fair guy. I learned some stuff, and so that's really where it is. But I want to have fun. I want to joke. Always remember that you are on camera. Rob, as you rightfully said, coming in from the fire grill, hey, I'm gonna just act like I'm on camera all the time. Well, that's what you do. You're on camera. You're on microphone all the time. It's where it's at. It's not that anything nefarious goes on, but things could be taken the wrong way, as far as whatever. So, we are the Senate Agricultural Committee. We're not a political action committee. We're not a political committee. I know that sounds funny, being in a building of that's all politics. We are, as best of my ability, going to stay away from politics. We're going to be about agriculture. And there's got to be some pressures on both sides of the aisles and the middle of the aisles to lead something out that it's probably not good for ag or whatever. Maybe it would be, maybe it won't be. We're going to stick with ag. And here's why. The people of the state of Vermont expect us to. The people that make their living in agriculture expect us to make strong decisions based on agricultural issues, not politics. And so we're always going to do our best to stay reined in as far as, is that an agricultural decision? Is that a decision that's best for ag? Or is that a political opinion or a thought that's coming from one side or the other? And so, we all have our beliefs. We probably all have our reputations about, where we stand on a lot of different things, or whether we're Republican or Democrat or progressive. But I'm going to do my very best at all times to keep every decision that we bring through here as an agricultural decision that is really expected by the people that are in the ag business trying to make a living. And we'll look down about that some, I'm sure, as it goes along. That's, other than that, I can't tell you enough about expressing yourself. I say this in my private life. I own a couple of real estate companies, and I do a lot with first-time home buyers. And I tell them, listen, when we are going and we're talking about something, don't just sit and nod your head yes like you understand. If you don't understand, then you need to ask. And if you still don't understand, you need to ask again. So that when you are all said and done, you will be able to make the right decision. You're not going to make a right decision if you don't know what's going on. And if we need to bring in more witnesses, if we need to do whatever we need to do to help you understand the subject matter, we'll do that. We got to bring in more witnesses. If we got to just talk amongst it about ourselves, whatever we've got to do, if we've got to go see something, we'll get on a bus and we'll go see it. But it's very important that when it's all said and done, when you, at the end of the day, sign your name on that bill, or you give your support on that bill, or you don't give your support on the bill, you're doing it based on the information that you have, that you've got, and that might be different than the way Brian feels, or I feel, or Joe feels, or it might be just all different about the way it is. But at least you're making a decision based on the information that you've got in front of you. So, be tireless as far as to say, hey, I haven't heard enough on that to where I'm comfortable enough. Can we get somebody else in? Let's do that. Let's also try to get on both sides of the story every time. I can remember as plain as day how I used to think that going camping was the craziest thing. How the heck would anybody want to go camping? I want to outlaw it tomorrow. I think it's that dumb. Until I went, and I had a wonderful time. The next year I had a seasonal camper spot. So let's get both sides of the issue. Let's get both sides of the issue so we can hear it. And I think it's not only for us, but it's for the public. It's for the public to come in here and to give their side of the story. Prosecutor, you ever hear any of that at all with both sides of the story? Oh. So let's get both sides of the story, and let's make sure that we can do it from there. Bob. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think it would be appropriate to, as the only returning member of this committee from the last meeting, recognize the service that the former chair, Bobby Starr, made in this building. He was on House Ag for many years and Senate Ag for almost as many. I want to count, I'll say half his life was spent in this building. I think Bobby's got to be close to 80.
More than half his life.
And I learned so much from him in the 8 years that I've been sitting here. And like a lot of you, didn't come in with a full background in agriculture, but he had a way of making it really fun and easy to learn. We would have some great witnesses that came in. He had a rather unique sense of humor, and he was as smart as a fox. I'll tell you, if just at the moment when you thought you might have had him figured out, and he would do something that you just scratch your head and we're just bewildered at how smart a guy could be. He once figured out a legislative process for a bill that he wrote and introduced himself to kill the bill because he wasn't happy with the way the thing turned out. And he used a parliamentary procedure that very few people even know about. And everybody sort of looked at each other after it happened and went, what just happened? He just killed his own bill because he wanted to. So again, just in case, Bobby, if you're ever gonna click on YouTube and watch this, from one guy that learned a lot. And we had a big ceremony last year when it was his time to bid deer when his wife was there and all. I just wanted to mention that was a.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I appreciate both of your knowledge of this. And I probably more than that is appreciate trying to leave the political aspirations out the door and doing what's best for the agriculture community in Vermont. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm going to lean on you exponentially in this. Rather you're, and I say this in the fact that it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. We're here to make sure that we take care of the farmers of this community. And so, thank you for saying that, and I appreciate you saying that as well.
Well, and the thing, Joe, is to we'll follow it up. That's all I can tell you. Is that's not words. We have some fun committees, and I'll tell you who I learned from was Dick Mazza, and I'll tell you, there wasn't a more respected person in this building than Senator Mazza, and you would say, oh boy, he did it by, had his thumb on you, and he did it by, no, he did not. He did it by exactly how I'm saying it, is to let everybody get their thoughts out, let everybody talk, let everybody get it out there, have free range discussions, have fun. We laugh so hard so many times at ourselves, never at anybody else, but at ourselves. And but I learned that from him. So yes, thank you. But you'll also see that is the way that it is. It really is. It's we have a lot of stuff to do. We're gonna have plenty of bills and all of that stuff. I don't want to get right into it, but one of the things that I would really like to do, we're gonna have a lot of bills from other people. Okay. I'd like to work on a bill. It's very, very large, and I don't know that we'll get it done in this 1 year's time, but I'd like to get it to where that we actually do support Vermont farmers. We actually come up with a pricing structure that we can actually get them paid for their product, mainly milk, and there's a way to do that. But we'll talk about that some more times. But there are some big things that we can do in here. There really, really are. Part of the reasoning why I'm happy to be on this committee is because I do believe that Vermont owes a lot to farmers, not just dairy farmers, but all farmers. Everybody, as you said, Joe, as far as putting your hands in the dirt, I like that. But, you're going down an old country road in Vermont, you come up around the corner and you look, and the best view that you've ever had in your whole life is right there. And that's typically because it's a farmer that cleared the fields and worked the lands and all of that. And then you go down the road a little further and there's another best view you ever saw. Contrast that to going into an area like in northern New Hampshire, where it used to be all dairy farms, but you just go down the road and all you see is trees growing up, not even good trees, just scrub brush trees growing up. You don't see anything, because nobody's maintaining that land anymore. And so, I mean, there's not a advertising in the state of Vermont that doesn't have an old dairy barn on there, or doesn't have a field of grass or a field of corn or an old silo or a cow or a maple tree or a organic garden or anything like that. There isn't anything that we do for advertising in this state that we're trying to promote it that a farmer didn't do for the most part. So kind of why I'm glad to be here. What else? Ready to get to work? Yeah. Yes. So, any comments from the room?
Oh, I'd just like to lead off on my comment here, Rod Coronado, about the work that was done last session Rodenticides have been identified as a prevalent threat to wildlife, and this committee took appropriate action to address that. And I really appreciate that. A lot of people in the wildlife advocacy community appreciate that too. But the science is coming back that there's still a problem. And so I think that's going to be another issue that, is going to be before the committee. And I also just want to say that, I live next to I get my milk from my local organic Jersey farm, and he sells it raw. And he cannot sell it raw to our local cafe that could make lattes for people in Barrie, which would be awesome. And that's just something I was thinking about, like, how I would love to help him. I pay him an extra $1 for his product just because he should be getting more money than he does. So that's just my personal opinion regarding the work that you do here, and that, where I see as a concerned citizen for my local, food suppliers. I definitely appreciate everything that you have all brought to the table and the work that you'll be doing.
Thank you. Anyone else? Linda, anything to add? Anything to add?
To that, no.
Or anything at all? Because we're gonna have a short day, and there's no need to hang around here, and I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to make sure that if you guys, anybody had anything else that they wanted to accomplish, we'll call it a day. If not,
Well, we probably should go over the meeting times. Normally it's at 9 o'clock start. We have something else, I think, next Tuesday, which will be our next legislative day. I don't know whether it's sexual harassment or discrimination training, but one of them.
The sexual harassment is training is on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
It's next Tuesday.
Okay. So will that affect the meeting time here?
Yes, well, that's from 10 to 11. So probably on Tuesday, you'll be meeting around 11:15 for a short meeting. And then Wednesday, start from 9 to 12.
Okay.
I just want to pass this around and get your name and cell phone. Because when we go out for events like that, I need to have your cell phone so I can confirm that everyone has evacuated the building.
And I should bring up the 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. Every week is meeting.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about it.
Well, 9 o'clock, you have the floor on Tuesday morning at 9. So the committee starts after 15 minutes after the floor.
Yeah, 15 minutes after the wall.
So
Yeah.
it'll be closer to 10.
And I'll
We'll figure it out.
and I'll always on the floor. You guys will see. I will announce. When we're gonna meet on that morning. And if there's anything like that, just let me know. If it's gonna be a conflict at any time. At any time. Again, I'm very easy. I'm beyond easy to get along with when it comes to that type of stuff. I get it. You can need to take a phone call. You got to, whatever during time. Just excuse yourself, and I get all of that stuff.
If there's any other contact information you want to share with each other, you can put that on there too, and I'll make a list. And I also want to reaffirm that I'm here for you too. If you need any kind of help, let me know. Happy to do what I can.
So you have a set agenda then as far as what bills we're gonna see?
Well, the bills as they come in, and so what happens? So let's explain that process a little bit. So what happens when you get a bill? It goes up on the wall. It's gonna go up on that wall right there. So we're gonna have an in, we're gonna have an out. So you're gonna actually see the bills that are up there, and some of them just sit up there. Some of them just sit there. But at some point in time, we need to take a peek at them and whatever, or kind of discuss it or whatever. And so we'll choose to take one off the wall, and we'll start the process. We'll get the witnesses in. I kind of like to have a little bit of an idea, a broad discussion, or we'll get the person who wrote the bill in here. We'll get their ideas as far as what they're looking at and all of that stuff. And then, we'll sit there and we'll work on a bill. I mean, there'll be times where we'll have more than one bill up of that wall. We're working all kinds of different little bills and all of that stuff. Remember last year there was 1,200 bills in the Senate, and 1,200 bills total in this building, and I think they passed a little over 200 of them. So there's just some of them that are just probably not going to see the light of day. I'm going to have, and there might be some that deserve time, but this is a biennium. We'll take them up next year. And all of that. And obviously, if there's a bill up there that's got great concern to a committee member, you know, we wanna give some breath to that. You know, cause, you know, chances are, if you've got something that came from one of your constituents and all that, you know, we wanna be sensitive to it all. It's triage sometimes, so. Sometimes, there's just some of them that just aren't gonna ever see the light of day no matter what. But again, it gets back to that respect thing, right? It gets back to just having some respect and, because somewhere along the way, you know, I've seen in this building enough, one thing in particular without going right into the situation, and identifying, you know, where it came from and who brought it up and all that. But in one of my committees, we had somebody sitting there and they had this issue and whatever. But come to find out, it wasn't an issue that really ever should not even have made the type of day in this building. It should have been an issue that should have been brought to the town and had the town decide it. Instead, we were gonna make this person was proposing that we make a law that was gonna impact all the state. And the way that it was going, it probably could have gone out of there. But it wasn't the right thing to do. It should have, and the reason why it wasn't sitting in the town, because the town said, no, we're not doing that. Well, okay. Well, now we're gonna do it a different way. So those are the things we watch out for a little bit as well, right? Maybe this is not a statewide issue where that situation that's going on in Orleans County, really that has to be down in Windsor County. Maybe Windsor County people feel a lot different than that. And so those are some of the things sometimes we look at as well and say, okay, is this something that we can really kind of take up and really think that this is an issue that should be statewide? Or should we just say, hey, how have you guys have you done this at your town level yet? So,
I have one thing to add. I'll be sending you each an agenda on Monday. But it keeps changing. And so if any of you haven't had experience with the webpage to know how to access the agenda and to access all of the documents I'm gonna be posting for your committee, sit with me for a while and we'll go over it.
And then proper, Mr. Chair, when, you know, I know it doesn't, you're not,
So-
but it sometimes.
here's where it is. I'm a lot looser on that. You have other chairs that aren't. Act like I'm the other chair as far as when it comes to that. But, you know, I mean, I don't wanna be that person who, you know, has totally changed the whole, respect process of how somebody wants to be. I'm just a different guy, you know, we're all equals here. I just happen to be sitting in this chair. So yeah, so probably Mr. Chair, would be fine. And you know what? And to be honest with you, I'm gonna be calling you guys Senator when it's all said and done. So it's not gonna be Joe, it's not gonna be Rob, it's not gonna be Steven, it's not, so I'm gonna be calling you guys Senator. So that's what I'm gonna do for you. So, because again, you know, you guys have earned that title. And, people have elected you in that position. And I'm gonna show you the same respect that you show with the chair. So it will be Senator. So. Again, unless there's anything else, any other questions about the process? Any other questions about anything?
I know, yeah, right. I agree with that statement.